Have you ever wondered why, no matter how many crunches you do or how many calories you cut, that stubborn belly fat just refuses to go away? You follow the advice. You put in the work. You stay consistent for weeks, sometimes months, and yet nothing seems to change. It is exhausting, discouraging, and honestly, it makes you question whether any of it is even worth trying. But here is the thing. What if the real problem has absolutely nothing to do with how much you eat or how hard you exercise? What if everything you have been told about losing belly fat is actually missing the most important piece of the puzzle? Today, we are going to uncover the truth behind belly fat, and the answer might completely change the way you think about weight loss forever. Here is a shocking fact that most people never hear. Weight loss has nearly a 98% failure rate. Think about that number for a moment. 98%. That means out of every 100 people who try to lose weight, only 2 actually succeed long term. Millions of people count calories every single day, hit the gym religiously week after week, and still see no real change on the scale or in the mirror. Imagine spending months, sometimes even years, doing everything you were told was right, following every rule, every tip, every trend, only to look in the mirror and see the exact same result. That frustration is real, deeply real, and the reason behind it is something most people never stop to address. To understand why belly fat is so stubborn, we need to talk about what is actually happening inside your body. Most people assume belly fat is simply the result of eating too much or moving too little. But the real story goes much deeper than that. When you have belly fat, what you really have is a fatty liver. Fat builds up inside the liver and eventually spills out into the abdominal cavity, creating what doctors call visceral fat. This is the dangerous kind of fat that wraps around your internal organs and resists every conventional weight loss effort you throw at it. It does not respond to crunches. It does not simply melt away with cardio. That is because you have been targeting the wrong thing entirely. So the real target is not your waistline, it is your liver. And what causes a fatty liver in the first place? The answer is too much insulin. Now, insulin is your body's primary fat-storing hormone. Its job is to take energy from your blood and store it in your cells. But here is the problem. When insulin stays elevated for too long, your liver becomes the first place fat gets packed in. And once the liver gets overwhelmed, that fat has nowhere to go except outward into your abdominal cavity. This is where belly fat is actually born. So when you look in the mirror and see that stubborn midsection, what you are really seeing is your liver overflowing. This means the real problem behind belly fat is not overeating. It is not laziness. It is chronically high insulin levels driving fat storage day after day without you even realizing it. Now here is where things get really interesting. Let us talk about a diabetes medication called metformin. Doctors also prescribe it for conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome because it lowers insulin levels. You might be wondering, what does a diabetes drug have to do with belly fat? Everything, actually. The reason metformin works for weight loss is not magic. It works because it reduces insulin resistance and stops the liver from producing excess glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. Think of gluconeogenesis as your body running a secret sugar factory. Even when you are not eating any carbohydrates or sugar at all, your liver is essentially manufacturing its own glucose from scratch. Metformin shuts that factory down, and when that happens, insulin levels drop, and fat storage begins to slow. That is a critical piece of the puzzle most people never hear about. Think about that for a moment. You cut your carbs, you eat less sugar, but your body is still quietly manufacturing its own glucose from fat and protein. This internal sugar production happens completely independent of what you eat, which is exactly why so many people feel defeated even after making real dietary changes. Your liver keeps generating glucose regardless, keeping insulin elevated and fat storage ongoing. Metformin directly addresses this by blocking the liver from overproducing glucose and by reducing the fat already stored inside it. However, metformin carries serious risks including a black box warning about a dangerous condition called lactic acidosis. The encouraging news is that a natural compound called berberine, found in certain plants, has been shown in multiple studies to produce nearly identical metabolic effects, lowering insulin resistance and reducing liver fat without those serious risks attached. Now let us look at gastric bypass surgery. Most people assume it works simply because it makes your stomach smaller, forcing you to eat less and consume fewer calories. But the real reason it works is far more fascinating. The surgery eliminates a hormone in the small intestine called glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, or GIP, which is responsible for spiking insulin every time you eat, regardless of what you eat. Think about that. It does not matter if you are eating a salad or a slice of cake. That hormone fires anyway. By removing that hormonal trigger, insulin drops dramatically. This is also why gastric bypass can reverse type 2 diabetes almost immediately, sometimes within days of the procedure, long before any significant weight loss has even occurred. Both metformin and gastric bypass point to the same conclusion. If you want to lose belly fat, you must focus on lowering insulin. And the two most powerful ways to do that naturally are going on a low-carb diet and practicing intermittent fasting. These are not just trendy approaches that come and go. They directly target the root cause of belly fat by reducing the hormonal signal that tells your body to store fat in the liver. A low-carb diet cuts off the primary source of insulin spikes, which is dietary sugar and refined carbohydrates. Intermittent fasting gives your body extended windows where insulin stays low, allowing your liver to begin releasing stored fat. Together, these two strategies work in harmony to address the exact same hormonal problem that both metformin and gastric bypass surgery correct through medical intervention. Within just 14 days of combining a low-carb diet with intermittent fasting, you can reduce up to 50% of the fat stored in your liver. That is not a small shift. That is a dramatic transformation happening deep inside your body, and it will absolutely begin to show up in your midsection. Now, intermittent fasting is especially powerful here, and not for the reason most people think. It is not simply about eating less food or cutting your portions down. It is about eating less frequently. Every time you eat, insulin rises. So by extending the windows between your meals, you keep insulin levels low for longer periods throughout the day, giving your liver the time and space it needs to finally start releasing that stored fat. Beyond diet and fasting, there are several other powerful tools to support your progress. Eating plenty of fiber-rich greens gives your body magnesium and potassium, both of which directly improve insulin sensitivity. The fiber also feeds your gut microbiome, which produces short-chain fatty acids like butyrate that further reduce insulin resistance at the cellular level. Think of it as building a stronger foundation from the inside out. Managing stress is equally critical. Cortisol, your stress hormone, raises blood sugar and drives insulin up, just like eating candy would. So even if your diet is perfect, chronic stress can silently sabotage all of your hard work. Addressing stress is not optional. It is a core part of the strategy for finally getting that stubborn belly fat under control. Sleep is another non-negotiable factor in your journey to reduce belly fat. Poor sleep directly interferes with your body's ability to regulate insulin and burn fat efficiently. When you are sleep deprived, your insulin sensitivity drops, your hunger hormones spike, and your body holds onto fat even harder. Aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night. Create a consistent bedtime routine, limit screen exposure before bed, and keep your room cool and dark. Beyond sleep, apple cider vinegar is a surprisingly powerful tool. Taking 1 tablespoon diluted in water 2 to 3 times daily has been shown in studies to meaningfully improve insulin sensitivity. It is inexpensive, widely available, and easy to incorporate. Small, consistent habits like these compound over time and work alongside your diet and fasting efforts to accelerate real results. Now let us talk about exercise. While it only accounts for about 15% of your overall results, it still plays an important supporting role, particularly because it helps lower insulin resistance. so do not skip it entirely. Think of exercise as the finishing touch that amplifies everything else you are already doing with your diet and fasting routine. We will walk through 5 core exercises designed specifically to support this process. The first is seated toe touches. Here is how you do it. Lie flat on your back with your legs raised at 90 degrees, then lift your upper body and reach toward your toes. Aim for 1 to 3 sets of 12 to 18 repetitions every other day. This movement directly targets and strengthens your lower abdominals, building a solid foundation for the exercises ahead. The second exercise is bicycle crunches. Lie on your back, place your hands behind your head, and rotate your torso, bringing opposite elbows and knees together while extending the other leg straight out. This movement targets your obliques and deep core muscles. Aim for 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 18 repetitions. Third on the list are burpees, one of the most powerful full-body movements you can do. Each rep combines a squat, a push-up, and an explosive jump, all working together to powerfully activate your core and elevate your heart rate. Start slow and gradually work up to 6 to 10 sets of 12 to 25 repetitions as your fitness improves. Together, these exercises build real functional strength and train your body to become significantly more efficient at managing insulin levels over time. Moving into our fourth exercise, the boat pose is a powerful move for building deep abdominal and spinal strength. Sit on the floor, balance on your tailbone, raise your legs, and extend your arms forward to form a V shape with your body. Hold this position for 1 full minute and repeat 2 to 3 times. It challenges your core in ways that traditional crunches simply cannot match. The fifth and final exercise is the forward plank. Get into position on your forearms, keeping your body in a completely straight line from head to heels. This works your core, glutes, and back all at once. Begin by holding for 20 seconds, then gradually build up to 40 seconds per hold. Repeat 2 to 3 times every other day for steady, lasting progress. So there you have it. A complete and science-backed approach to losing belly fat that goes far beyond counting calories or doing endless sit-ups. The real solution is not found in another crash diet or a new workout trend. It starts with understanding what is actually driving the problem. Address your insulin levels, heal your liver, commit to eating low carb, fast strategically, manage your stress, prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, and support your body with the right nutrients and movement every single day. These are not random tips. Every single one of them targets the root cause of why belly fat forms and why it refuses to leave. Stop fighting the symptom and start fixing the source. Attack the root cause and the results will absolutely follow. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.